Welcome back, my dark means, to the Dark Void, ruled by me, now 51, with a K, Peel, with a K. And today we are going to do a very interesting reaction. Basically, well, it's not interesting because I've done this before. We're gonna be, and since Christmas is just around the corner, and plus I'm not gonna be making videos for the rest of the week because today's Thursday and tomorrow's Friday, and of course, I don't know that BS. But either way, sorry, I just ate. So yeah, so we're gonna decide that I'm gonna be making a creepypasta Christmas video today. Yeah, this is by CreepsMcPasta. So basically, I just let you know I have a big fan of the creepypasta universe. One time I literally went down the rabbit hole so much they literally interrupted me from reading manga. Yeah, exactly. I read manga. Just let you know. Oi. I wasn't listening. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know why I was not listening to it and reading it at the same time. But either way, yeah, that's... yeah. So, yeah, I've been so... And now I decided, you know what? Why not make it interesting and then... And plus, I was hoping that I'd be able to get... And plus, just let you know, I was hoping that I was able to do it by... and Halloween to make a creepypasta that one, and also I was wondering if I should even bother doing one for Thanksgiving. And my mind it just didn't want. If my mind didn't want to do it, but now I decide. Do you know what? I should bring this back. I should bring the creepypasta reactions back onto the channel, and we're gonna be doing a long one here. Basically, I think it's like I don't know how long this is. Oh, it's on 21 minutes long. So we're here. It's called a Christmas Warning Creepypasta. It's going to be 21 minutes long. And also, please go look up CreepsMcPasta. I have heard him before. He is a great YouTuber to listen to. I love how he talks and his voice. Basically, a lot of these Creepypasta writers, oh, I love their voice. It's just, I don't know how. But either way, yeah, so we're going to be listening to this. And yeah. And also, Merry Christmas to everybody, in case I forget to say this below. And we'll be back hopefully next week to basically make even more. And I'll probably make a Christmas Eve creepypasta video. Who knows? But either way, let us begin and let's start. And I lowered my volume for my voice a little bit so that way you guys can hear me bit better. Hopefully that works. And hopefully this does not get me struck. Hopefully. Alright, let's begin.
Christmas. Call me a proverbial Scrooge. Insult me to no end.
I got it.
Every year.
There we go. Sorry. I started off a
the
little bit.
Fact that I hate Christmas. Call me a proverbial Scrooge. Insult me to no end. But every year, I feel dread greater than anyone who hates the holiday season could ever claim. If you know me personally, you'd assume it's because of my younger brother's disappearance. And you'll be right for the most part.
Okay.
It happened one Christmas morning, when, by all rights, the two of us should have been sitting by a tree, opening presents, and making treasured childhood memories. Instead, I was treated with a day of police frantically searching our house and neighborhood, while questioning my distraught parents. They questioned me too, of course. But, as a 10-year-old, I didn't have much to say.
No, how could you?
That he and I had gone to bed, excited for what the next day had in store for us. And that was the last I saw of him. He just never came down to open his gifts.
Disappeared,
and that's when my mother discovered his room was empty. But that was a lie.
What?
I do know what happened to Chris.
Okay,
I know who took him away. And I know that if I told the truth, no one would believe me.
That's the truth there.
Then or now. Santa kidnapped my brother.
Excuse me?
Please don't laugh. I know how it sounds. And you're right. It sounds ridiculous. He can't be real, and even if he was, he's supposed to be nice to children. But I know what I saw, and it wasn't some lunatic in a Santa suit either.
Yeah.
That man was as real as a winter wind that chills you down to the bone. I suppose I should start by telling you how all this started.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Before the holiday was ruined for my family.
Let's hear this.
On Christmas Eve, we all left out cookies for Santa, talked about what we'd hoped he would bring, and then our parents read The Night Before Christmas to my brother and I. All of them cheerful, mundane traditions for our family. What was different that final year was I was noticeably less enthusiastic about the whole process.
Alright.
It was the first year I'd openly stopped believing in Santa Claus. I was a strange and cynical child, much to the concern of my parents. To tell you the truth, until that fateful night, I'd never really been a believer in Santa Claus. I mostly just played along to please adults. But that year, I was tired of all the acting. That's one of the many ways we differed so much, my brother and I. You see, Chris was a young, energetic, and curious boy. I remember the year he was taken was also the one where he found out where our parents was hiding our unwrapped gifts weeks ahead of time.
Ooh.
He refused to tell his own big sister what she was going to be getting though. Figures, I guess. More importantly, however, being 3 years younger than me, he was still very much a believer. My flat denials of the existence of Santa Claus only served as a challenge to him, and he was determined to prove otherwise. We were heading up the stairs to bed when he got my attention. "Stay up with me," he said as he tugged at my pajama sleeve. "I'll show you he's real. We'll catch him in the act. I bet we'll be the first ones to have ever done it, and I'm sure he'll give us all kinds of stuff when we do." I sighed. "I'd rather just get some sleep, Chris," I told him. "You can go on believing if you want, but I don't have to, just to have a good Christmas."
That's one thing to
I always
say.
tried to avoid being a damper on his spirit, and I thought convincing him to forget his harebrained schemes would be better than waiting up half the night just to see his disappointment. "Oh, come on," he cried. "Do I always have to make you have fun? If it weren't for me, you'd be boring, just like Mrs. Henderson." I must have made a disgusted face, because Chris laughed, gave a mischievous grin, and said, "Well, what's it going to be, Mrs. Henderson?
Oh my
Are we gonna
god.
catch Santa in the act or not?"
Oh my goodness.
Mrs. Henderson
That's
was my
not fair.
fourth-grade teacher, and I despised the old crone with a passion. Chris knew how to push my buttons. "All right, short stuff, you're on," I said, with more bravado than I actually felt.
Alright, let's do this!
First
Let's
to
do
fall
this!
asleep has to wait till New Year's to open their gift from Santa.
Ooh, that's gonna
Chris's
hurt.
eyes flashed with excitement at the wager. "I'll take that bet." So we went to our rooms to wait for our parents' turn to go to bed.
Whoop.
After the
Sorry.
lights downstairs went out, I waited about half an hour just to make sure they were asleep, and I crept out of my bed and sneaked my way downstairs. I saw that there was a light on in the living room. Chris was sitting casually near the fireplace. "What took you so long?" he said, always the confident one. "I waited for Mum and Dad to get to sleep, idiot," I replied. "They're not going to be too happy if they find us here."
That's true.
With an
That's true.
unceremonious plop, I sat down on the couch, directly in front of the fireplace. "So, how do you expect to stay up the entire night?" I asked. "I imagine I'll figure it out," Chris said.
Yeah, he's a kid. He's not gonna
I'm
be
not
able to last
sure
that
how long
long.
we waited there for the so-called Saint Nick to appear, but Chris looked almost ready to doze off. We were shocked away by something that must have been large and heavy hitting the roof. After a short pause, there was a sound of shuffling and the scraping of feet. I was sure I heard the ringing of little bells.
Here we go, people.
Chris whispered in awe. "It's really him." For a moment, I wondered why Mum and Dad weren't awoken by any of this. All the racket was enough to wake the dead, but that train of thought stopped when the chimney soot started sprinkling down into the fireplace. Chris dashed over to me and shook my shoulders. "What did I tell you? He's real! He's real!" Unlike Chris, I
Don't.
didn't think there was any supernatural explanation behind this strange occurrence. I was convinced there was a burglar trying to find their way in through unconventional means. I sat stiffly.
Alright, sorry guys. One of my family members decided to open the door. And like I said, I did have a sign at one point, but it didn't even matter anyway. They literally just knock and it just busts right into the door. It doesn't really matter to them. What's the point of a sign if they don't even bother? Alright, let's continue on. Hold on, I gotta check the time to make sure that I know where I stopped. Okay, let's continue on.
Staring at the fireplace for a few moments, unsure of what to do, until I rose and dived underneath the couch to hide.
Alright, let's do this.
"What are you doing?" Chris cried in bewilderment. "He's coming!" "Get down!" I whispered fiercely at him.
Yeah, go.
"We don't know who that really is." Chris opened his mouth to protest, but a voice let out a grunt from the chimney, and it spooked him enough to find a spot of his own. He hid behind Dad's large leather lounge chair in the corner.
Yep, come on.
A few
Here we
moments
go.
later, a final, loud thump came, and the front of our fireplace was obscured by all the soot rushing out into the air. I covered my mouth and nose desperately to prevent myself from coughing. When it finally settled, the sight gave my cynical mind a serious shock.
Here you
The
go,
old man that
people.
stood before me really was someone dressed as Santa Claus, and he looked every inch the part. His body was the perfect size, he had a long white beard, and his outfit was a beautifully made red jacket and pants. His face contained the soft, loving features of an old man enjoying the moment. What surprised me the most about this strange man was even though he had just entered through our musty chimney, there wasn't a speck of soot on him. It was almost as if anything that could mar his perfect appearance was naturally repelled.
That's Santa for you.
I was finally convinced he was the real deal by what came next. Throwing a sack of presents over his shoulder, Santa stepped away from the fireplace and a short elf girl emerged to follow him. The
Waifu?
elf had pointed ears, a glistening green suit, and
Waifu?
was so short she only came up to Santa's knee.
Okay, we have a waifu
Like
here.
the jolly old man, she seemed terrified to take a single step into our home. She looked all around as if there was some terrible threat in the room, and seemed only slightly relieved when she mistakenly thought it was empty. Santa noticed her fear, but rather than reassure her, as would be expected, for a fraction of a second, his kind face changed into a look of pure, horrifying malice. It was like the kind old man had been replaced by an insane, merciless master, only to return a nanosecond later. The elf's mood changed on a dime. In short order, she was filling our stockings with small toys and candy, with a smile plastered onto her face that seemed ready to crack at any moment. Being so short, she had to use some kind of magic to levitate, so she could get within reach. With purposeful, yet quiet footsteps, Santa made his way to our tree, taking 2 presents from his bag. He placed them in the proper spot and went to where we had left his traditional snack. The elf was done with her job too, but Santa wasn't inclined to share with his companion. Now that she was towing the line, he barely even acknowledged her presence. She just stood there next to him, waiting for him to finish, wringing her hand in nervous movements. On its face, this whole scene was like something ripped straight out of a Christmas television special. But even at my young age, I could tell that something more was going on. What I'm trying to say is it seemed like they were attempting to appear whimsical for whimsy's sake, like it was all one big act they were putting on. The little elf barely passed as a convincing actress, and Santa's momentary lapse only cemented my suspicions. It was something I was unable to articulate fully at the time, but I can now. It looked like a ruse.
Okay.
Chris fell for it right away though.
Oh no.
He must have been too young to notice the sinister signs
Oh
that
no.
I had been able to pick up on.
Oh,
From
no.
my angle on the floor, I could see him clearly in his own hiding spot. The look on his face told me everything I needed to know. He was completely enamored with these 2 people.
That's
To my
bad.
horror, he slowly crept out from behind the chair. I wanted to call out to him, to tell him to stay right where he was, that these 2 were strangers, that there was no way to tell what would happen once they knew we were there.
Oh
But
no.
that would have given us both away. It's not like he wouldn't have listened to me either. How many kids out there can't help but trust Santa Claus? Wow,
Yeah.
he whispered to our bizarre intruders. It's really you.
Oh no, this is bad. Here we
At
go.
this, both Santa and his elf turned to find Chris standing in the middle of the room. Both had this faux expression of surprise that only served to unsettle me further. "Waiting up for us, I see," Santa commented with a warm smile. "Yeah," Chris said cheerfully. "I wanted to prove that you were really real and everything." "And it seems you have,"
Here we
Santa
go.
replied with a chuckle. He sat down in my father's chair and motioned to Chris to sit with him, to which he obliged. "Oh man, I've got so many questions," Chris exclaimed. "Are there reindeer on the roof? Can I see them? What's it like living on the North Pole? Oh, I wish I could see it someday. All in good time, Santa said, grinning at his remark. Maybe to some it would have looked like a friendly expression, but to me it was a smile that seemed to contain the self-satisfaction of winning a game. As for the elf, she had lost all colour on her face. She made no move whatsoever as the two sat together, but her expression was enough to tell me that something horrible was about to happen. I knew you were real. I just knew it, Chris said. And all the big kids at school give us such a hard time about it. Even Sis was losing it too. Just wait until everyone hears about this. Oh, they won't, Chris, Santa said, clasping his gloved hand over my brother's shoulder. Huh? Why not? He asked, confused. Do I have to keep it a secret? Santa laughed a deep, evil laugh that was too much unlike his fabled ho ho ho. Do you honestly think that you've been the only one to ever see me? That throughout history, the many little children of the world haven't done the same as you? Chris shifted uncomfortably in the man's lap. I guess not. You see, Chris, Santa began, children are not to be trusted. They're the ignorant, greedy, and selfish offspring of humans. A greedy and selfish race to begin with. Over the years, I've been able to sustain myself on these human qualities, and humans have happily whitewashed my persona in order to satiate their desires without guilt. It's the perfect season for it. Don't you agree, my dear boy?
Here we go.
The excitement in Chris's face was all but gone.
Here you go.
He was finally starting to get it. The children who seek me out always want something, Santa said. More meaningless possessions, satisfaction of curiosity, or simple proof are only a few examples. However, there is always a price to be paid for breaking the rules and finding something that is not meant to be found. Throughout this conversation, the elf began to gather the gifts they had brought with a hint of reluctance. She even managed to make the cookies Santa ate magically reappear. She was ridding the house of any evidence of their presence. Santa's hand squeezed Chris's shoulder tightly.
Here you go.
I'm always looking for more helpers, he continued. Children who have seen me, who can never keep such a secret, are the perfect candidates.
I removed the waifu remark.
His face turned into an expression of absolute fear.
Here you go.
He realized his fatal error. You are not the first, he said.
Remove that waifu remark.
Certainly won't be the last.
Here you go.
Turning to his elf, Santa barked out a command. Annabelle, it's time. Change him now. No, please, the elf stammered. Please don't make me. Santa gave her a cruel look of disdain and waved his hand toward her in an odd way. I was horrified to see the elf suddenly start clawing frantically at her face, digging her nails into her own skin. She screeched in pain, unable to stop harming herself. Santa waved his hand again, releasing her from her torture. Her face was now covered in scratches and dripping with blood. Chris screamed and dove off Santa's lap, trying to rush out of the room, but the old man made another strange wave with his hand, and Chris stopped in his tracks. As if possessed, my brother turned around to face him, his eyes wide with fear.
I can see this in my head right now.
Awful man's control.
I can see it in my head.
Don't you see it? It's too late for you now, he said triumphantly. Accept your fate. With a smug grin, Santa looked down to his companion.
Oh my gosh.
I should really start having you all wear red, he said in a mocking tone. At least then, the blood wouldn't show so much. Are you going to do as you're told now, Annabelle, or do I have to think of something worse for you? The elf let out a heavy sob and looked up to my terrified brother. I'm sorry, she said in a sad, high-pitched voice.
Here we go.
From where I was, I could see her tears mingling with blood as she took a little silver wand hidden in the fold of her clothes. She pointed it directly at my brother, and in a blinding flash, filled the room.
Here's where
It took some time for my sight to recover.
Here comes,
But
here
when it
comes,
did,
here comes.
I saw the Chris I knew disappearing before me. His whole body looked like it was melting before my eyes. Unnecessary flesh falling away and reshaping itself.
Oh my god.
When the transformation was over, he was shorter and squatter. His ears came out to sharp points. His nose was round and flush, as if he had been out in the cold. Even his clothes had changed to a uniform similar to Santa's companion, only red this time. His new elf appearance was a caricature of his former self.
So that's how he gets his
He was
elves.
so scared. Looking down at his new form, he could only let out a pitiful squeak. So was I, as I lay frozen underneath the couch, clutching the carpet. As that awful, obese man and strange crying elf dragged my newly turned brother into our fireplace, Chris looked down and stared directly at me, his expression a desperate cry for help.
Let him
What
go.
could I do?
Let him
How
go.
could I fight off two magical beings without getting myself into the same horrible situation?
Yeah.
So,
It was a choice.
I did nothing.
It was a choice. You had no choice.
I still have nightmares about that. With Chris in tow, they shot up the chimney all together through their strange magic. And that was the last I ever saw of my little brother.
My goodness.
For almost the entire night, I stayed under the couch, softly crying. In my state of shock, I had no strength to do much else. But as I saw the sun slowly rise from the windows, I knew it was safe to crawl out of my hiding place and find my way back to my room. The rest, I guess, is history.
Yeah. I can see it in my
To
head.
this day, I won't have anything to do with this terrible holiday. I don't decorate, I don't give out gifts, I don't go to parties. I won't even live in a house with a chimney or fireplace. Hell, I even refuse to visit houses with one this time of year. Don't get me started about the mall or street corner Santas.
Ooh.
I just keep to my apartment as much as I can. In my paranoia, I really must turn into a cheerless shut-in a month out of the year. Because I know that somewhere in the world, there will be more unlucky children going missing. I still don't know why I didn't meet the same fate as my brother. Has he never told his captors that I was there too? Could he really keep a secret for that long?
Who
Could they
knows?
somehow pry the truth out of him? Every year since that night, I've been terrified that they'll finally come for me. Perhaps what keeps me safe is the fact that I've stayed quiet all these years, never telling anyone what really happened. I can only assume that Chris has done the same. Anyone out there must be wondering why I'd say anything about it now. To be honest, I want to. Because
Alright.
I'm not sure what that fat guy would do to me. I mean, there's no way he could turn a fully grown adult into an elf. Right? But most of all, I want to know what's become of Chris. It hurts to think what could have happened to him over all these years. And I need to find out. Maybe if I share my story with the world, somebody out there would give me some answers. Maybe there's some way I could help him. I'm willing to take the risk. I just hope all the disturbing possibilities I've imagined won't come to pass.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Christmas Eve is coming. Wish me luck.
Oh, that was it? Oh my gosh. Hold up, let me pause this. What am I... Oh my gosh. Okay, hold up. Oh, God. Okay, hello, what's up? Okay, hello. Oh my gosh, that game... Okay, you know, like I said, I'm gonna take that rightful remark on the end. Probably. No, really, I will. But, oh my gosh. I know I was a little bit, you know, into... Like, not into it. Well, because... I have already been used to all this scary stuff already. And I actually do like scary stuff. A lot. I just don't like jump scares. That... yeah, that I was actually a little bit more enthusiastic. But once we start getting into the point where... Oh, here we go. That's when I started to feel, oh my gosh, here we go. This is where it starts. Like, I was trying to stay quiet because I didn't want to interrupt the story. So I'm sorry that if anybody was like wondering if I was keeping quiet because I wanted to hear the story, and I wanted to, get involved with it. And also, if you guys want to see the video, please go to CreepsMcPasta down below. I will leave this video down below for you guys to watch yourself. Trust me, this guy literally knows how to tell stories, and literally is terrifying. I mean, when I was listening to it, my head literally imagined literally what was happening at that point in time. It didn't imagine it anywhere point in time at all. Until we got to that point. I mean, oh my gosh, I literally saw Santa doing all that stuff to Chris right now, and yeah, it was really terrifying for me. But I hope you enjoyed today's video of the return of the Creepypasta Reactions, which is I'm going to be calling it from now on. And I hope and there will be more in the future. I don't know, I will have a continuous thing because I do have a VTuber reaction. But I may only keep these for holidays. Who knows? I don't really know. We'll see. I'll need to think about this a bit. But, oh my gosh. Like I said, right now my head is like playing games right now and saying, ooh. Okay, so yeah, like I said, if you want to see this video without my voice, please look up the video down below to his channel. And also like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed this video. Press the black bell to be notified, or just come to my channel every once in a while during the week. And also share the video, because literally, this guy, really, I've seen his videos. These are good. These are good. And I don't think I have anything left. Right now, I'm getting a chill down my spine, and I'm looking behind me right now. Oh my gosh. And yeah, let me know down in the comments if I'm trying to end this video, but my brain's just freaking not getting the words right now. Let me know down in the comments if you were seeing what I was seeing. But either way, hope you enjoyed today. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, and I'll see you possibly for another creepypasta at New Year's. Who knows? But for right now, my dark means dismissed.